Hi, in today's analysis video I want to have a look at Reunion by Colin Benders. I think this is an awesome track on his not so huge system. I mean, later his system became 3 times, 4 times this size, so this is rather small for him. But well, this track sure isn't small. This is a big track with a lot of tension. I like it very, very much. At the end of this video, I'm doing a complete breakdown. Well, a complete breakdown, that's maybe a little bit exaggerated, but I kind of made this arrangement in Ableton to show you, to be able to show you the different parts, the different elements, and how the layers work in this jam or in this track. So do stick around or skip ahead. I'll be sure to put in a marker where that part of the analysis starts. But let's have a look and I'll talk us through what I hear in this awesome composition. So right from the bat, there's a little bit of white noise and some kind of bass. I've said this previously, it's nice to not work on a blank canvas, but to have some kind of something happening already. And now there's this ARP coming in. This ARP just follows a regular bar length. It doesn't have weird length. There's no syncopation going on. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the noise has been filtered out almost entirely. So has the bass, the slight bass sound. Well, no, the bass sound is still there. You can also hear that there's some kind of high sound in the background. Now he brings in that bass sound a little bit more. Apparently he has that on the verbose. Well, is it a twin filter? I'm not sure how that module is called. So the bass is brought in more. The ARP is still just going. The high, well, stringy sound is it's very white, so there must be a lot of reverb on this. And I feel it's at this point that a second note comes in, as you can hear. So there's 2 notes that create these harmonies together with the bass. And in the first part of his jam, he's manually transposing these notes for both the harmonies as well as the bass on his ER 101 sequencer. You can see him turning the knob and then the pitch changes. So I don't think he has this part sequenced, or not entirely. I think he's just manually creating these changes. All the while the ARP in the back is still going. The bass is also at this point still the same note. Now it has changed. The tension in these harmonies is awesome. So he's still manually changing the pitch of the bass and at least one of the harmonic layers. I mean, it's pretty apparent there. Now he's opening the filters for the harmonic sounds, which are almost certainly on two separate voices. So this is a way that you can create chords. You don't always have to think in terms of creating chords with one module. You can just as well just sequence 3 separate voices, create harmonies and tension between them, and you have a chordal structure in your Eurorack performance. Now he's bringing in the ARP a little bit more, so you can feel the tension building in this performance. I also feel there's a second sequence going together with the ARP for the 2 last notes, or well, it's the last note and the first. I like how this kick comes in so naturally, so easy, effortless. Sometimes when you bring in a kick at a seemingly random moment, it feels off, it feels weird. But Colin knows how to arrange stuff. So the bass has been filtered, filter has been opened more. There's clearly also some side chaining going on of at least the bass against the kick drum. There's an additional ARP that I haven't included in my Ableton Live arrangement. So this is something that Colin does a lot. He creates several really fast ARP-like sequences that just run in the background. Sometimes they have odd lengths. In this piece, they're just regularly, they have a regular length. See, when you start listening really, well, what's the word? When you start paying a lot of attention to all the elements, you start hearing more and more every time you listen. So now we have cemented in this melody. So that's repeating now. He's no longer tuning his voices freely. I feel there's clearly a sequence that started there. The bass has also is also being triggered by or sequenced by something repeating. Doom, 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 doom. The main ARP is still going in the back. Now there's these high notes. I love this arrangement, I love this track. I feel he's constantly playing around with the filter on the bass. Or maybe it's just the heavy side chaining that's causing this pumping sound. It's obviously the sidechain compression. So there's that part again. So to do something like this, you need several sequencers that are easy to program intricate patterns on. A regular 8-step analog sequencer isn't going to cut it. Well, maybe for the ARPs, but like the longer stuff, that's going to be hard. Not impossible, but hard on like analog sequencer. So I feel the bass has two layers to it. I think it's two voices that are being sequenced, and the highest one has a lot of FM on it. And you'll hear this later in this jam that he starts turning up the octaves, playing around with the octave knob on one of the oscillators. I don't know for sure which one he is using, but obviously there is an octave transpose knob on it. Well, I'm seeing a lot of FM, it might be sync. See, he's his left hand. So I guess it's an AJH VCO in the Minimod series. Now he's adding some, I'm guessing it's FM to the higher harmonic, the higher harmonic sound. And all this is done to just increase like energy in the track. The more the more high frequency content that a piece of music, piece of sound has, the more energy is perceived when we listen to it. So usually when you want like a giant explosion in your music, well, what I mean is after a build-up, usually you want to release all that tension. You want to create a piece in your music that has high energy, and an easy way to do this is to bring in high frequency content. Usually people add a crash cymbal or like a climax. Well, a crash cymbal has a lot of high frequencies. And now, well, the drums have stopped. Now he's slowly going to filter out all the elements. Probably end up with the ARP. I can't remember actually. This beast feels so organic. And keep in mind, there's still just some faint note in the background, just static. Now it's gone. No, it's not. So this might have been going all the time, all while this jam happened. Yeah, I really thoroughly am impressed, blown away even by this awesome track. I've said it a few times now. Let's have a look at the arrangement I made in Ableton. So the song starts off, and there's already some noise wash. Coming in and out. And then at some point this ARP starts. Well, let's have a look at this pattern here. So this is the main ARP part, but I get the feeling there's a second sequence running with only 2 accent notes. The reason I think this is because this is filtered out. Well, the first one is filtered out and only these 2 notes remain. Like if you filter this, something like that. Anyway, so that ARP part comes in, but also there's this like harmony stuff going on. I didn't get the notes quite right, and Colin keeps well, transposing the notes manually on his sequencer. Then the bass comes in, and we get this beautiful, well, for me, this opens up, figuratively speaking, because of the harmonies. There's some tension. All the while this ARP is going in the background. And then at some point we start a repeating pattern here. So this here is the sequence for the highest part of the harmony. The other part of the harmony is, I think, just doing one note. And then there's the bass. That follows this pattern. I switched out the next part of the song to another track for the bass. In fact, there's two tracks because I think the sounds are layered. At some point in the jam, Colin starts bringing in a higher sound in the bass, and I really think that's on a separate layer. We have this rhythm track here. It's heavy on the bass. There's also a really busy hi-hat pattern. But it's lovely how there's this tension in this whole melody and the harmonies. And it resolves there. So that's my analysis of this awesome song by Colin Benders called Reunion. First time I heard it, I remember I was nailed to the floor. I sunk into my chair. I was overwhelmed with how beautiful this composition is, and his sound design is, well, if you look at subtractive synthesis within modular, I think Colin Benders' sound design in context, of course, of songs is on another level entirely. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Bye.